The Bulgarian embassy at Cantonment in Accra was demolished some 5 years ago by a private developer after it was sold to him by the administrator of the land, although the lease was expected to expire in the year 2033.
Bulgarian embassy leased the subject property from somebody who is no longer a living person. They leased it from one called Theophilus Kofi Leighton on the 1st of February 1979. Like I said, Mr. Leighton is dead now. Which lease was extended from 1983 for 50 years, for which an amount of 1 million cedis was paid by the Bulgarian mission or embassy to the late Theophilus Kofi Leighton. And also they had the option to renew that lease for another 50 years. The current lease that the Bulgarians have on that land is supposed to expire in 2033. And it is upon the demise of the landlord, or the death of the landlord, that is Mr. Theophilus Kofi Leighton, the administrator of his estate attempted to forcibly repossess the property over an alleged non-payment of rent arrears by the Bulgarian embassy, notwithstanding that the latter has made full payment for the lease to the late Mr. Leighton. So that is where the trouble started. The case traveled all the way to the Supreme Court. In its judgment, the Supreme Court reaffirmed the holdings of the appeal court, and that was dated on the 21st of July 2011, which overturned the decision of the High Court and affirmed the right of the Bulgarian embassy in the leased property. So, the above judgment of the Supreme Court notwithstanding, the successor of the late Mr. Leighton sold the leased property to a private developer who later encroached on it. I hope we are getting...
According to the government, there has been a series of engagements with the private developer to ensure the land is regained by the embassy. However, these efforts have proven futile.
A series of meetings with the parties involved, trying to get this matter resolved amicably. We have at, I think, 2 or 3 stages even gone to the police to see if the police will be able to come in to try and help us throw out this developer. But it has not been that successful as expected. So we have not been sleeping. We have been on the ball, and we are doing whatever we can. Today, about 12:30, I went to the site with the Deputy Minister for Lands. Yesterday, Land Commission went there and they put a stop work notice. Right? They put a stop work notice on the walls. Today, when we got there, the workers were still on site. The stop work notice have been ripped off. We had to force our way onto the grounds. Yes, we took off the roofing sheets which they've used in making like a wall around it. We took them down and went in. The workers were there on site. We spoke to the supervisor. I called the trespasser a couple of times. He did not pick. And then we told the workers that they had to leave the site, and that with the order that the Land Commission has issued under the new Land Act, those workers there.
The government says the developer has currently filed suits at the courts, also challenging the suspension of work on the land. During a visit to the site, Construction works were being undertaken by some laborers, although it had been cordoned off with surrounding gates and the lock and key, but the workers, upon noticing the cameras, moved away from the scene. During our visit here, we've seen that the place is under lock and key with a notice from the Lands Commission for the private developer to halt work on the project, but we've also noticed that work is ongoing inside by some laborers. What the government has issued a caution that persons found working on the site would be apprehended. Reporting from cantonment in Accra, my name is Ni Ayikwe Okain for City News.